Okay, so this is the Olympic Park, or at least part of it, and this is Fish Stadium. It is where tonight the opening ceremonies will happen. Tonight, by that I mean my time. It's going to be 11 a.m. your time. You don't see a lot of people. You do see a lot of power units because the Russians have had a couple of problems with actually getting these things connected to a regular grid, and you don't want these things to go down. This is actually like the biggest, most planned event. That's the edge of the hockey stadium. I could walk out a little bit further and show it to you. But these are positions where it's all just built for this purpose, where different TV stations rent for an astronomical sum of money the ability to go in and broadcast. So presumably this is some Russian station that's here. This is over here NHK, Japan. I don't know if they're on the air right now, but it's ridiculously early somewhere. Certainly in Canada. This is RDI, which are our French colleagues for CBC, and this over here is the CBC thing. Hey, that building there in the background, that's where curling and something else happen. I forget what. The building kind of next to it is where figure skating and everything else happen. Clearly more Russians there. That's Tom Dinsmore, who's the guru of everything. What? Really? Okay, well this will be a little treat. Go ahead. So this is where the Russians are broadcasting from. I'll just stop talking here for a second. We'll show it. Wow. Wow, this is pretty elaborate. So it's a nice background. You see the Olympic flame there? It is bigger. That's a gorgeous shot. So they would, obviously he doesn't have all the full lights on right now, but it's pretty amazing. And they can, that's where hockey's played. There's another hockey stadium right next to it. Tonight, there's this giant line that's going to shoot out of the Olympic Stadium opening and come in there and light that flame on fire, which is pretty wild. Down there is a stage where there's concerts all night. But this is the Russian studio. They're not on the air right now, or at least not from this studio. They have other positions as well. They have this other camera. Look how tiny it is. That's the camera right there, but it's on a jib arm, so they can swing it all over the place and do really pretty shots.
No, because with the different angles.
So, and also the windows are tilted. Yeah. So no, we don't.
That's wild. Here, I'll wander over to our studio as well. Okay, back onto the little behind-the-scenes tour. Back to CBC. We're on the air here with our morning show in about an hour. And it's a much more rudimentary studio than the Russians. That's basically our shot right there. Heather Hiscox, who's with CBC News Network, will anchor from here shortly. Later it'll be Ian Hannah-Mansing. Peter Mansbridge has been doing stuff from here as well. And so that's it. We put up, you notice there's something here which we wouldn't otherwise see when you're on camera. The further back we get, the less you see it. But it's called a scrim, and it partly blocks because the sun is so bright. But in our shot, there's Peter Armstrong, who covers sports for our news stuff. There's our shot. Go sit in the chair, Peter. Yeah. As soon as you're supposed to look at the camera. There you go. Yeah. Anyway, that's how it goes. We have all these, again, these different shots we can select from different beauty shots, and everything is basically controlled from back here. But there are, in this studio, like nobody. Three people plus the anchor when all of this is on the air. It's nobody, and the line just gets sent all the way back to Toronto, and they connect it up with all the other different sources of video. So this is what the TV operation looks like. Continue our little walk through. Now, one thing we are noticing a lot more of today, security. So you need these passes, and they scan it everywhere you go. And their little handheld gun scanner, there's actually You can't quite see them, but that's SWAT team guys wandering around. You don't see a huge security presence here. What we did see a lot of in the first few days are stray dogs, but we're pretty sure they killed them all or made them into hats or something like that, because you don't see them anymore. Oh, check out the fountains are getting going here. Way up in the sky there, you see it? That's a drone, or like a balloon, and so it does surveillance. Those things can get 12 different targeting angles. There are drones that we periodically see in the sky, lots of them. There go the fountains. But there is a big security operation. The one advantage they have here is that because it's everything that doesn't involve snow is on this site, it means they only have to protect one area, one big area, but only one area. It's not multiple areas, which really, really helps. Because everything, all the venues just surround us. Once again, curling. You've probably seen, if you look on Twitter, at Sochi Problems, or even hashtag Sochi Problems, hashtag Sochi Toilet. There's all sorts of weird stuff. I have a fire hose beside my toilet in my room for some inexplicable reason. And we've seen all sorts of weird things. The toilet seat put on upside down. There's a lot of toilet humor. But Russia is a developing country. It's not fully developed. So it's just kind of a different beast. Anyway, these are just regular stand-up positions. This is the backside. The Russians are in there. And so CBC. And this is my little broadcast position from up here, which we do with next to nothing. You saw it before, to Comrex and all of that jazz. I'll walk upstairs quickly. Fortunately, there's no quick way to do this. But it's going to get zany here tonight with a lot of people. What we don't know about is whether there's going to end up being a lot of spectators. You know, normally on Olympics, you think about the London Olympics, tons of people just bought tickets. But it's a really big ordeal. You have to have a background check to be able to buy a ticket. You have to have special photo ID that's like that photo ID. So it's not just as simple as going to some sporting event. It's very complex. Here comes the standard message that we probably think they're saying in Russian, you can't smoke here, which is amusing only because the Russians smoke like mad. So here's what we use. This machine here connects to a microphone. I hold it. This is a backup version of it that's on just an air card. You can see it there. And that connects us back to Toronto in broadcast quality. I read my scripts off an iPad, which are running off of MiFi. And I have the computer here just to do other stuff, but we don't really need it. And everything is basically sent right now using just that Ethernet line. So that is how we do radio and TV in the Olympics. If something's going to blow up, the odds are it'll be right in this place somewhere. And I would say the odds are that it's going to be tonight, because the whole point of the militants was to disrupt the games from ever happening. And if they want to do that, they have to do it now. Right down there is the Black Sea. There are destroyers in the water, like warships in the water off of there. They have underwater machine guns. They have missile batteries all around here. And all of this was not here a few years ago. They spent $50 billion that we know of doing this. And $50 billion, can you see the mountains way in the background there? Maybe not. $50 billion is a lot of money when you think that Vancouver was done for like $3 billion. This is astronomical. So certainly a much bigger security cost, but also a lot of corruption. People with connections to Putin and the Kremlin seem to be getting a lot of a lot of the contracts to do stuff. There's the mountains you can also see in the background, which is very pretty. Anyway, reporter Peter Armstrong and I have to get back to business. Right, Peter?
That's right. Let's get down to business.
Yep. Where'd you get that beer? Okay, bye, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.